Okay, thank you. And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Yong-An, and you can also call me Anita. I'm from Taiwan, Tatung University, and today I'm going to introduce our study. It's about the traffic safety, and we focus on the crosswalk. Okay, and at the beginning, I will talk about the backgrounds of the crosswalk and traffic safety, and the vision cognition, shape recognition, and the optical illusion. After that, I will introduce how we made the experiment samples. And in the end, I'm going to share the results and our discussion and recommendation. Okay, according to the research, there are 16,000 people die each day from all types of the injuries, and including the traffic injuries and pedestrians. Moreover, WHO found that pedestrians have a 90% chance of surviving when a car traveling at the 30 km per hour or below, but only a 50% chance of surviving at 45 km per hour. So as we know that the groups in like the pedestrians and cyclists and motorcyclists, they are really pretty easy to get injured from the car accident or some kind of that injured. So although accidents happen a lot every day, and the research found that if we improve the road infrastructure and pedestrian safety and drivers perception of the risk might decrease. Talking about the crosswalk in ancient Rome, the Pompey city, they put some stones and on the road and separated from the road and the sidewalks away. And they adjust the sidewalks height and arrange, and after doing that, they can crosswalk safely. And these stones are the earliest origin of zebra crossing. And in the 1950s, British government, they designed the 2D crosswalk as well. We can see nowadays, they do the design. It's the flat one. But however, 2D crosswalk is common nowadays. It has weak function to warn drivers to slow down. So that's why the injured increase a lot. Well, however, you can see the picture here in Delhi, India. They try to design the crosswalk in another way, just paint it as like the 3D like. And in the same logic, if the crosswalk was painted as this one, we suppose that the drivers will drive slowly and the injury will decrease. In the part of the vision cognition, based on the law of organization, it is found that the human brains tends to organize and analyze message with Gestalt theory when vision was stimulated. But however, there are few steps when a person transform the subject they see. The first one is when he see a subject, the person's brain will transfer when he see the subject and transfer it from 3D models into the 2D image. And after that, his brain will transfer the 2D image into 3D again. And however, the scientists found that the theory I mentioned above, the law of organization and the Gestalt theory, was happened at the third step, when person's brain change the image into the 3D again. And the psychologists propose 3 different possible types, just as you can see. The first one is the shape of the stimulus, and the second is 3-dimensional and 2-dimensional. The third one is the environment. And come back to the crosswalk. Crosswalk is, we suppose that it is have the simple shape and is easy for people to remind. So we suppose that crosswalk is a kind of shape of the stimulus. And in the shape of the recognition parts, people usually regard the shape of crosswalk as the shape of the stimulus I just said before. And prototypes, the concept of the prototypes are people remind many classic examples in long-term memory. And when something mentioned, they will remind that. As I say, a rat, a ball-like, and maybe a lot of people will think, oh, it's an apple. And as the same way, owing to the shape recognition, and if a new type crosswalk remain the white rectangle and permuted continuously parallel by sidewalk, just if the new kind of crosswalk retain these elements, and maybe people will also think the new type crosswalk still be a crosswalk. And the third one is the optical illusion. The optical illusion is one of the way we design the experimental symbols. And this way we think, if we want to make the 3D crosswalk thicker, and if we use this method, it can be designed in a suitable way, and it can stimulate people to notice the crosswalk and slow down. Okay, and the object and the aim. The first purpose of our study is to investigate the 3-dimensional crosswalk advantage. The other purpose is to design the 3-dimensional optical illusion design, and based on the traffic safety. And here's the methodology. We designed the experiment samples but we based on the rules. It is one of the Taiwan's rule, and the other one is the visual thickness, and the third one is the shadow. And as shown as on the right side, here are the elements and the elements that we will keep when we design the new samples. When we design the new samples, and after that we will analyze the data by SPSS. The production of when we redrew the experiment samples, the first one is to draw as the white solid line, and length 2 millimeters to 8 millimeters, and these elements. And all of the samples we will draw on the 0.1 scale. And after that, we design the questionnaire and recycle the 30 questionnaire. The questionnaire are the Likert scale from level 1 to level 5. Level 1 is totally do not feel 3-dimensional, and the level 5 is feel obviously 3-dimensional. However, during the production, we found that
if you
visual
could
thickness.
Conclude your presentation within about the next 30 seconds, please.
Okay. During the production, we noticed that the visual thickness 60 cm was looks weird. So we decided to only choose 45 cm and 50 cm to be our samples. And here's the result and discussion recommendation. In the result, we found that the 3D visual thickness in 50 cm with front shadow can strongly catch people's eyes. To know why, we discussed this phenomenon, that why people think this one is the strongest feeling, and we think this because the front shadow brings stronger feelings and the strongest warning to people, so it gets the highest rate than the other two types, the back shadow and the non-shadow. Also, we found something to notice. The other one is the proper visual thickness can bring real feeling rather than the thicker one. So that's why we only choose the 45 cm and 50 cm, not choose the 60 cm thickness. And the recommendation here, we suggest that three-dimensional crosswalk can also be designed in these two aspects. The first one is to changing different perspective, and the other one is to change the color combination. The perspective is because in our experiments, we use the one perspective to redrew the samples. We think if redrew the samples in the other perspective, the result might be different. And here, the color combination, based on the color psychology, and there's not only white line on black shadow, there are more different color combination can be applied in the crosswalk design. And at the end, we want to thank Ministry of Science and Technology project for their support in our study. And here's the reference. And thank you for presentation. Thank you for active participant and support and suggestion. Thank you.